Okay, so after talking to you guys, I wanted to point out that the diagram in here for where it's showing the heavy load, light load setting is actually incorrect. As you can see here, that's the front of the rifle, because if you look right here, that's this nut, which is the end of the rifle. Okay, it's showing that the settings are incorrect. It's showing the settings are incorrect. So the heavy load setting actually needs to be pointed in the opposite direction, which means toward the end of the butt of the rifle, not the muzzle. Okay, so this diagram is incorrect. So I know you guys are aware of that one. So I'll move on to the next thing. Okay, as you can see now, I've got it in the right setting. That's the heavy setting toward the back end, toward the butt of the rifle. That is now correct. Now I'm going to try to put the forend back on and show you guys what I have found. Okay, so here's the floating bracket that I was talking about for putting the forend back on. I'm going to slide this back on. And sorry, I'm kind of one-handed, so I'll be pausing the video and showing you guys what I do one step at a time. So here's this piece. Okay, so now I've got that part back on, and it's oriented properly because it's got the little detent right there, so that I can put the nut on it, so it'll stop its position, keep it from backing off. So I'll put the forend on now. Okay, I've put the forend on. I don't have any of the screws installed yet, or the nut put back in place. So, but I want to show you guys how off it is. So here's the forend put back into place. If you look, I don't know if you can see. Let me put it in the light. You can see how far off the screw hole is. It's off by quite a bit. And if you try to install it all the way on like this, the forend is super loose. So the procedure for doing this is to install the screws. You have to move it around. You have to push that bracket forward. Install the bracket with the screws, and then put your nut on to cinch everything back. The instructions don't tell you that, because if you install it like this, if you put the nut on first, it pushes that bracket so far back that you can't get the screws in to the forend. As you can see, the screw hole is off by quite a bit. I didn't want to damage it, so I backed everything off and then put the screws in. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so as you can see now, I've put the nut in place and tightened it up, but you can see how badly the screw holes are now aligned for the forend. You can't even really get those screws in, and it's all the way back. It's flush to the front of the rifle. So if you do it any other way than putting the screws in the forend before putting the nut on, you can't get this forend to stay in place. Okay, so what I've done now is I've just go ahead and installed the screws without the nut tightened down at all, so that I can actually get this on here. If the instruction manual didn't tell me to take those off, I probably wouldn't, because you can slide the whole forend off. As long as you take that nut off, you can slide the whole forend off without actually removing those 3 screws. But the instruction manual tells you to do it, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So in order to make this not rattle, you have to put the forend not rattle and be loose. You have to actually install these screws first, then tighten that nut to cinch everything back to the rifle. Doesn't seem like it's supposed to be that way, but that's the only way you can get it to put back together. Okay, it's all back together, no rattle. As you can see, I'm wiggling it pretty good, and everything seems to be working. I'm just not sure that the forend is supposed to be a part of the actual, I don't know, cinching of the assembly itself. Just something you guys might want to look into. It could cause